Does good television exist? How much people watch TV? What kinds of television programs do we prefer? And why do we watch these? These are only some of the questions that I would talk about in my presentation today. But especially I would discover with you if good or bad television still exists, or if now we have to talk about a new kind of television, different kind, popular TV. I think that we can't classify television programs such as good or bad, because it depends on what people like and what people want to watch on their television. But what does good television mean? I think that programs which have an educational purpose and that teach something to the people can be classified such as good. But other people can say that also television shows which have an entertainment purpose are good programs. If we consider talk show where people discuss about political and social topics, they could appear like good programs. However, some television critics think that also the language used in these programs has a significant role in the view of the people that watch these programs that consider good or bad a program. Probably we have to consider three factors to evaluate the television program: the language, the topic, the purpose, and the content. Now, I would like to go back in the past. At the beginning, television had an educational and an entertainment purpose, and it was a way to disassociate yourself from the reality. The first Italian show were primetime shows with songs, dances, quizzes, and a lot of fun. But now everything has changed because there are a lot of different kinds of television programs: information programs, reality shows, comic shows, talk shows, late show, newscasts, movies, variety shows, talent shows, sports programs, and a lot of others. But what's the message that they send to the people, and is it good or bad? To give an answer to this question, we have to consider an event happened some years ago, in 1980, and it changed television: the birth of commercial broadcasting. With the insertion of commercial broadcasting, which especially has to earn money with advertisement, it was changed. Now it considers more what people like, what people prefer, and so the people's opinion. And so the audience has a main role. Now we have to focus a little on the audience. In Italy, there is a society, Auditel, that is specialized in this field, and every day it publishes data about audience of all the programs of the television of the day before. All the programs study this data to understand what people like more and less. Television authors try to build the shows based on this data and the feedback of the people. And so the success of a television program depends on the audience and on the spectators. Now, I would like to focus on Italian television and Italian television programs. What are the programs more watched ever? If we think about our television, there are about 423 channels, and about 92% of Italian population watches TV every day. Auditel, the society, has made a list of the 50 programs more watched ever, and all are football matches, especially about FIFA World Cup, except one, the second evening of Festival di Sanremo 1995 of Pippo Baudo. This is the only entertainment program that was watched by over 18 million people. In the past, there were a lot of variety shows where fun and music were the center of the program, with the spectacular exhibitions and games that involved also the spectators. But now, this kind of program has been disappearing. In television, there are a lot of talk shows and information programs that debate about people's problems, from politics to economy, culture and society. And their purpose is to captivate a high number of spectators. Also, the language used in these programs has changed because there is a lot of confusion, more debates, shouting, fights, and less respect. And now, let's analyze the television program to understand its changes during its history. The Big Brother, and especially the Italian version of the Grande Fratello. Do you know how does it work? Big Brother is a Dutch reality and probably is the most popular and famous reality show in the world. There are about 54 different national versions and about 387 total seasons in the world. About 20 years ago, a new kind of television program was born, the reality show. At the beginning, it was only a social experiment to represent reality and the real life of common people without any screenplays. It became very famous and popular with Big Brother and Survivor, where some people are watched by spectators all the day for a long period of time. In this period, they can't leave the house in Big Brother or the island in Survivor, and only the spectators can decide who could become become the winner of the show. In Italy, there were 15 seasons of Grande Fratello, and the first had an enormous success and a large audience. If we think that the last episode of the fourth season of Grande Fratello was the only Italian television program that won in terms of audience against Festival di Sanremo. In the first seasons, the contestants were normal people like lifeguards, students, employees, waiters, etc. And they didn't know what people think about them out of the house. But now everything has changed and the contestants are borderline people like daddy's boys, famous people, people with an extreme political idea, to exuberant guys, models, etc. And they think more about people's opinion and social reactions. This is the reason why the reality show has left its purpose of social experiment to represent real life and the reality. And also it's the reason why, because the success of this show has been reducing. But probably now people want to watch something different, something exciting, and something that can't happen in our life, in the life of normal people. And television is representing this. But let's come back to the main idea of my talk, good or bad television. I have tried to analyze the changes of the television and the language and the purpose of some television programs. I think that we can talk about good or bad television, but we have to talk about popular television because it represents only what people want to watch, what people like. Now there are a lot of different kinds of television shows. Some brought an educational message, but others brought another kind of message. But we can choose what we prefer watching. And this is our television. Thank you.